In a previous video, we thinned these trees out, and a couple days ago, I burned up the slash, cleaned it up real nice. Now this area should be safe from wildfire. But while I was burning, I inadvertently created a more immediate fire threat that we're going to have to deal with. It's in the spot right over the hill. First, I'll show you how this cleaned up, then we'll go over there and deal with that problem. Over here is where our little situation is. This is one of my burn piles. This is where an old rotten stump was. I don't know if it showed up on camera, but there's a little bit of smoke still coming out of here. It's still hot down there. The fire is burning down into the roots. This is what they call a sleeper fire. When you get a fire that starts going down into the roots, they can burn for days, weeks, months. On really big stumps, they can burn over a year. They just slowly smolder. They can follow a root down, it can pop up somewhere and start a wildfire. In a case like this, the day I was burning, it was a drizzly day, everything was wet, it was a safe day to burn. But the next few days it's supposed to dry out, it's supposed to warm up, it might even get close to 90 toward the end of the week. And it could be windy. Over the next few days, the duff and the dead wood could dry out, and the fire down there could get into this, and the fire could start spreading. In a place like this, it's cleaned out, it's not a huge danger this time of year. If it was in August, I would really be concerned. But if it's in August, I wouldn't have been burning to begin with. This is just a small stump that'll probably go out and it'll probably be fine, but when it comes to wildfire, probably isn't good enough. With the way things are here and it's still only April, I'm not concerned about this becoming a big wildfire, but it could still spread around and cause a bigger problem to have to deal with later. To prevent a future hassle, let's put this out now. The smoke coming out of here is so light, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera or not, but I can feel the heat from it. This stump over here was also smoldering. I don't see smoke now. It feels warm, but it doesn't feel hot. I think this side burned out, but we'll give it a soak down anyway. Now that we're heading into warmer, drier weather, this would be a good time to get the fire tools de-winterized and prepared for the upcoming fire season. This equipment hasn't been used since last summer, so this will be a good fire drill to make sure all the equipment's in order before we get into fire season. I drained the pump last fall so the pump wouldn't freeze. Check the oil. Yep, there's plenty. It's running out. It's on a little bit of a slope, that's why. Turn on the water. Now to see if it'll start. That looks as out can be. Instead of ash and hot spots in there, we have mud. There's no visible hot spots. The way the mop-up crews and wildland firefighters do it, they just feel around for hot spots. It's a little bit warm just because it's been burning for days in here, but nothing hot or even remotely hot. You can't always tell if there's a hot spot. Sometimes the coals burning down there don't always make smoke, but if there is a hot spot in there, you'll be able to feel it. And you have to be smart about it. You don't just shove your hand in there and burn yourself. You just be smart about it. Now with this place completely soaked, I'll feel better about the upcoming warm and possibly windy days. This was a little bit of overkill for this, but it was a good opportunity to make sure the water wagon's running before we get into fire season. There wasn't much water in the tank to begin with. There's still a little bit left. I'll drain this tank, put the rest of the water into the greenhouse, put it to some use watering my greens. Then I'll take the tank down, fill it up, and I think we'll be ready for fire season. It's the end of April. We probably won't have any hard freezes, so I think the pump will be fine. But I'll watch the forecast. If there are any hard freezes, I'll make sure I drain the pump. If you let a fire pump freeze, that's a quick way to destroy a fire pump. And when you're burning debris, always watch out for those stumps, because they can start burning down into the roots. Then days later, or even longer, when things dry out, it can come back up and make for a really bad day and night. How do I know this? Maybe someday I'll tell you about it. But for now, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. A few videos ago, we cleaned up this spot. No, we thinned out the trees. That was what we did. But in the process, I inadvertently, in a previous video, we cleaned up these arg. Why can't I say what I want to say? But it could spread around and cause a little, to prevent a future hazard. This equipment haven't. Now with this place completely soaked, I'll feel better about the upcoming. I'll drain the rest of this water into my. Whenever you're burning debris, watch out for stumps, because the fire can go down into the roots and come back to bite you someday.